Hi guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to examine just what is going on with our Oompa Loompa frost and how the EU's Vice President Maros Sefcovic have each drawn a line in the sand for the first time, or at least appear to have done so. Now, before we get started, if you wouldn't care to hit that subscribe and like and notification bell, it helps the channel a huge amount, guys. Can't tell you how much encouragement I get from it. But meanwhile, let's go. Now, what has struck me over the last week or so is the departure from the normal modus operandi of the EU. And I think it's something we all need to be watching and be a little bit concerned about. You see, we've all become accustomed to the antics of Lord Frost as the Oompa Loompa has tried to persuade the British public that he has in some way become the man that the EU now fear, as he represents the UK's accession to our rightful place amongst the G7 as being that of the top dog. Now, recently, we've been bombarded with news of the UK within the G7, so I thought, just as a by the way, we should dispense with that crap first of all, okay? The first thing of note is that the G7 is actually made up of 8. There's actually G8, and they're from France, from Canada, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, United States, and the European Union as a group. Now, for all the Brexiteers out there, let's highlight something for you, just in case you don't get it. France, Germany, and the EU will generally stick together, okay? The US and Canada will generally stick together, okay? And for the likes of Japan, well, they'll support anybody that will become an ally of theirs in the future. Now, if the UK had taken this approach, she would have a lot more allies than she currently has, okay? If she'd matched what the Japanese did. As we are now well aware, the UK has alienated the EU, has definitely alienated France, has alienated Germany, has alienated the USA, and consequently alienated Canada, okay? Even with Japan, the UK's first multilateral trading partner, as a so-called independent trading nation, she did not even manage to secure a better deal than she already had achieved as part of the EU. So, not looking good so far. Now, leaving all that aside, however, for the moment, but not forgetting that the G7 is massively influential when it comes to trade within the developed nations that account for the majority of UK traded goods, let's look specifically at the change in the EU's approach. And this is official. The EU has issued a press release that is going to issue a press release on Wednesday. So it's issued a press release that it's going to issue a press release on Wednesday. And the only reason they could have done that was perhaps to send out some bait to see what bit. That has not happened before and has created waves in Westminster. Now, whether or not that is because Frost may have overplayed his hand remains to be seen. But I fear that given that the UK's closest ally in all of this, namely the Republic of Ireland, has issued a statement through their foreign minister that the EU is becoming tiresome of the UK's antics, Ireland's foreign minister has accused the UK of repeatedly dismissing EU proposals on the Northern Ireland Protocol before they are even published. Now, this is happening again this week, but it is now more serious. Simon Coveney, who's extremely skilled, has warned. He is warned the UK clearly, you're playing with fire. And the thing about all of this is that Coveney is 100% correct, because Frost dropped a massive bombshell on Monday when he said that the role, I don't know which way you want to say that, of the ECJ must be removed from the protocol that he negotiated. Now, so here is where things are going to get heated. You see, I've read the Belfast Agreement. I've read it several times, and I have completely understood the role of the ECJ. The spin that is about to be put on this by Frost and Bojo the Clown is that the UK is a sovereign nation and the EU better get used to it, and we must have control of our own laws, etc., etc., etc. So let me be crystal clear on this. The UK does control her own laws, but she does not control the laws of the EU. And the primary role of the ECJ is to ensure that the EU's trading standards are met by anyone who wishes to deal with her tariff-free and quota-free. Now, if a nation does not want to adhere to that basic principle of trade, then that nation can, in effect, take a hike and get lost. But the UK did want that access. To the Brexiteers out there listening to this, let me make a fact clear. The ECJ is referenced in the Belfast Protocol 68 times in the 239-page document that was agreed by Frost, that was agreed by Johnson, and announced to the British public and by all the members of the EURG as an oven-ready deal. The same document, okay? Now, there are some out there that may say, quite legitimately in my view, that the UK must retain the right to increase her standards if she so wishes. And I agree fully. However, even in the EU, the UK has always had that right, which is why standard furniture fire specifications in the UK are different to those of the EU. Completely different. And let's be clear here, these standards were introduced by the UK to protect the furniture industry in the UK, as the tests used to determine compliance used materials that were no longer allowed in the manufacture of furniture anywhere in the Western world. And for anybody who wants to contradict me, go ahead, it's on the BS 5852, okay? Now, if the UK were to adopt a similar policy of creating artificial trade barriers, then that in itself would be a breach of the Belfast Protocol. You see, the UK agreed to allow EU officials to help set up and maintain borders in the north of Ireland to facilitate a smooth transition, but the UK refused to act with any degree of urgency. Which brings us to today, Tuesday the 12th of October. On Monday evening, Frost's insiders released an excerpt from the speech he is due to deliver later today that refers to the ECJ and reads as follows. Without new arrangements in this area, the protocol will never have the support it needs to survive. The role of the ECJ in the Northern Ireland and the consequent inability of the UK government to implement the very sensitive arrangements in that protocol in a reasonable way has created deep imbalance in the way the protocol operates. Now, there's a couple of things I want to say to this. First is horse, second is crap, and third is liar. You can use them any which way you want. The fact of the matter is, Northern Ireland industry does support the protocol. The fact of the matter is, the people of Northern Ireland did not vote for Brexit. The fact of the matter is, the people for Northern Ireland voted to remain. The fact of the matter is, the majority of the politicians in Stormont, not by much, but the majority prefer to hold the protocol. The only people that wish to knock down the protocol are the DUP, the UUP, and the VIPs, basically, okay? It's not the SDLP, it's not the Alliance Party, it's not Sinn Féin, it's not the Green Party, and it sure as hell isn't the people on the street, okay? Now, the command paper referred to the ECJ just twice is now being pushed forward like some form of vanguard. Let's not forget that the ECJ has countless more experience with when dealing with trade standards, and as basically, it's the European Union that sets the rules to which most trades throughout the world use as their accepted standard, whether dealing, Venezuela to America or Chile to South Africa. They use the EU as a standard and it's accepted worldwide. We have already seen how decades of neglect has meant that the UK kite mark, to which many of us will remember from our younger days, has all but disappeared. And may I remind you, was quite clear when it announced that the kite mark, the guys who do kite, would need massive funding in order just to prepare to get things ready, to begin testing. Okay? Having spent millions upon millions, the car industry are not going to turn around and start switching tests. They're not going to do that. The answer, of course, is you can use the example of NCAP. Okay, the EU have the courts and procedures to deal with trade disputes on stuff like NCAP that may arise from events where standards are not met or in some way manipulated. Okay, the UK courts are simply not equipped to deal with such matters, and certainly not on a global scale or even an EU-wide scale, as the decisions by London courts are now far more difficult to enforce in the EU. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the flip side. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, and whatever else you can do to help the channel is much appreciated. You guys take care. See you on the flip side.